If Gehraiyaan is included, then I would say Gehraiyaan. Very difficult to choose, but maybe right now I'd say Band Baja Barat. Me and my family are very different. We feel a lot. We're extremely sensitive and emotional people, but often we find it hard to communicate it or to articulate the way we feel. But I think we're both equally each other's cheerleaders. Because I have a cheerleader in him, I think I'm able to make bolder choices.
Who is Alisha for you, and how much of Deepika is in there?
Well, I mean, Alisha for me is a girl who is sort of, she's a little stuck with where she is at in her life, and obviously is angling is not the right word, but sort of looking forward to or keen on living a better life. And at the same time, she's someone who carries a lot of anxiety. She's someone who carries a lot of the baggage from the past. Sometimes underconfident about what she's capable of. Needs reassurance occasionally. You know, navigating the different relationships in her life. Certain relationships were a certain way, but now as she's gotten older, those relationships have changed. So I think just this girl who's kind of in this situation and is just trying to, you know, figure it out.
And how much of Deepika is in there? Because as an artist, as an actor, there is a certain amount of you that you leave in every role.
And certainly, I mean, I don't think I can quantify how much of myself I've put into it, but if you ask me, have I put myself or a little bit of myself into this film or character? 100%. You know, as it has been right from the start, I think with every character that you play, you put a little bit of yourself in every character that you play. And similarly, with every character that you play, you take back something with you also.
True. Also, really want to understand the process and experience of working with Shakun Batra.
Well, the process is really, I mean, at one level, he knows exactly what he wants, but at another level, he's also discovering as we're filming, he's discovering. That is his process. And as far as the experience is concerned, this will most certainly be my most memorable film experiences. And I think that's because it's not often that you work with a crew and a director and a cast that is like a similar age group, who also think alike, have similar tastes and interests. So yeah, there was this sort of synergy that, you know, I can't explain how that happened or why it happened, but I'm grateful that it happened. And a lot of, I think, the love that this film is receiving already, even before it has released, is, I think, to do with that. The fact that I think all of us just got along with each other really, really well. And I think that honesty and transparency and that fun has translated onto screen as well.
Recently, you asked fans to choose their favorite Deepika Padukone performance. Now is the time you tell us which is yours.
I have to choose my own favorite performance.
Yes, and you have to choose one. You asked us to do that, so I think it's only fair.
Okay. If Gehraiyaan is included, then I would say Gehraiyaan. But if we are not including Gehraiyaan, then Piku.
Okay, so that is mine as well. Although I like so many of them, but just Piku, definitely.
Yeah.
Also, on this same poll that you had, Ranveer Singh could not pinpoint just one. But if I ask you to pick one of his, which one is the closest to your heart?
Oh, Very difficult to choose, but maybe right now I'd say Band Baja Bharat. So I think everyone noticed him, and his life obviously changed after that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen Lutera, I've seen, all of his other films. He and I have worked together in 3 films. But there was a certain rawness and innocence in that performance, which I think trumps all of the other films that he's done. I mean, again, like even Gully Boy for me is one of my all-time favorite performances of his. But yeah, for now, if I had to choose one, I'd say Band Baja Bharat.
Last time we spoke, that was around the time of Chapak. You called him your biggest fan, your fan number 1, if I'm quoting you. So, just how expressive or out there you are when it comes to cheering for him.
I think I feel the same, but I'm less expressive. He's someone who feels, but he's also able to articulate it in words.
Mm-hmm.
He's also a very tactile person, likes to kiss, likes to hug. And me and my family are very different. We feel a lot. We're extremely sensitive and emotional people. But often we find it hard to communicate it or to articulate the way we feel. But I think we're both equally each other's cheerleaders.
Have you guys rubbed off on each other in all the years you have been together? You are more expressive now being with him. Has something like that happened?
I hope so. I hope to some extent he has rubbed off on me, and to some extent I've rubbed off on him. Yeah, I think we have. I think we have. I mean, he does say that, I've read some of his interviews, and he does say to people that if I wasn't in his life would have been very different. Maybe he would handle his success very differently. And so I appreciate that. And for me, yeah, I think because I have a cheerleader in him, I think I'm able to make bolder choices.
That's beautiful. Your experience as a producer, 2 films down, you are already working on, you've announced the new one. So what made you take the jump, and what are your priorities as a producer?
I think what made me make the jump was when you realize that, sometimes there are films that are out there that I may not necessarily fit into as an actor. And without my involvement in a film as an actor, then sometimes maybe a movie cannot be made or may not be made. But at the same time, it's important for those stories to be told. And so that's how I view it, The way I choose those films are the same as the way I would choose my films as an actor, which is just passion and gut, instinct. But then not every film can accommodate me. But at the same time, you want that story to be told. And therefore, I think you produce that film, because that way you're still able to tell that story and share it with the world, and still be a part of it in some way without necessarily acting in it.
I also want to understand, as a producer, what sort of, inputs that you give, and, success or failure by that definition feels sharper when you are in the producer's chair?
Well, I think when a film doesn't translate, when a film means a lot to you, I'm not talking about the economics of it now. I'm talking about emotionally, when you've invested a lot in a film, and when the film and the character means a lot to you, but unfortunately for some reason you were not able to communicate that to an audience. Either it's a shortfall in the screenplay, or in the direction, or in the performance, or you can't even attribute it to one thing. It's just, for whatever reason, it doesn't translate in the same way to an audience. I think that is the most disappointing, Somewhere, if you know that, yeah, I'm also not sure about this film, and then the audience also doesn't appreciate it or doesn't accept it, then you don't feel that bad, because somewhere, yeah, even I felt that, maybe somewhere I made the wrong choice or the wrong decision. But when it means a lot to you, but the audience doesn't receive it the same way, I think that is extremely painful.
You have famously said that, Om Shanti Om was the first time you landed on a film set. You had no idea exactly what the business was about, what acting was about. From then to now, it has been over a decade and a half. How do you see your journey?
A lot of learning, a lot of growth, evolution, mistakes, learnings. Because I knew nothing about film before I came into the industry. I don't know anyone who's a part of the film fraternity. I don't have family, no friends. Everything that I know today is everything that I have learned by being on a film set, all the time that I have spent being on a film set. So I think for me, from being presented in the most beautiful way possible, then making the wrong choices, making mistakes, and then learning from that, and then going on to choose really interesting characters and interesting films. I think it's been quite a journey, and I think I've learned a lot and grown a lot along the way.
What sort of films you are watching now? What sort of content you are consuming?
Honestly, right now I'm consuming all kinds of content, like whether it is right from Schitt's Creek to Succession to Patal Lok to Money Heist, there's a lot of content, there's a lot that I'm watching. Every movie that is releasing that we've watched, we recently watched Chandigarh Kare Aashiki, we watched Sardar Udham Singh. So, everything that is there, I'm trying to watch. Of course, the films you're able to watch faster. The shows sometimes take a slightly longer time. But that's really my downtime. After a long day's work, go back home, have dinner. Even if it's just 20 minutes of something, watching something before we wind down, we do that and then go to bed. So, yeah. The Morning Show and Succession and Crown, I'm obsessed with these shows. So I wish I had something to do in it.
You have a very interesting lineup of films ready. There's Fighter, there is the Intern remake, there's the K Project, there is, Draupadi. That is something I personally am really looking forward to. So where are the films? When do we watch them? What kind of prep is going through? Tell us something about those.
Pathaan, I've been filming, more or less simultaneously with this film. So that should also release by the end of the year. Early next year, Fighter will release. I will start, filming for that in the next couple of months. Project K, again, I've already started filming, but that might release a little later, maybe sometime next year, because there's a lot of post-production work on that. Later this year or early next year, I'll start filming for The Intern, and then so on.
And you have this very interesting way, the way you pick up your films. Like Shakun has spoken to, I think, everybody about it, how you took a few days to get back to him. So you have this entire process, you kind of internalize the film before you say yes or no. So tell us something about that.
No, I actually don't internalize the process. The thing is that I know instantly after I get a narration whether I want to do a film or not. The process is that I don't react on the spur of the moment. The process is that even if it's a no, I will not say no immediately. I will wait for 1 or 2 days and see whether I still feel the same way, and then I respond. And similarly, even if it's a yes, I don't instantly say yes. I make sure, like in my gut, I know, yes, I'm going to say yes or I'm going to say no. But I still like to just not react on the spur of the moment. I want to just make sure that I continue feeling like that and Usually after a day or two is when I respond with my response.
Lovely speaking to you, Deepika. Best of luck for the film. And as I said, looking forward to practically all your filmography now.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.